All right, guys, welcome to another vlog. This is gonna be what I'm calling the Road to AO2, the American Open Series in August. Now, I am not competing in the American Open, but I'm coaching in the American Open. We have a couple people lifting. We have Mike, we have Holly, we have Haley. Noah is not lifting because he did nationals and he needs some time off, just having fun doing CrossFit classes and not getting serious training in, so he's gonna come to just be part of the team, but he's not gonna compete. But I thought it'd be fun to document like what our training looks like here at Stellar Strength Barbell for the team. So I'm gonna be doing it. So obviously I'll be in the vlogs, but I'm also gonna be documenting like Mike's build up, maybe some of the girls, Holly and Haley, and like what they're doing. And then obviously we'll be documenting at AO2 what that looks like. Also, the Stellar Strength Barbell programming is now live for everybody. So if you are somebody that is looking to maybe join a team or wants to maybe change up their training, you can now hop in to what we're doing here at Stellar Strength Barbell Club 5 days a week. Our programming is maybe a little unique. We have like an impulse day, so a day that's just dedicated to kind of velocity work. But if you want to feel like you're part of a team, if you train out of a CrossFit gym or something like that, but you really like weightlifting, this might be something fun for you to do. 5 days a week, $35 a month. You'll also get access to me, so if you put your lifts up on the app, I'll be able to see them and give you some real-time coaching feedback. So something that I just wanted to do. We've had a lot of success here at Stellar Strength Barbell Club in a short amount of time with our athletes qualifying for AO2, or obviously Noah with nationals. And so if you're somebody at my CrossFit gym, Upreach CrossFit, and you're watching this, you guys are already doing 2 of these days, Tuesday and Thursday. It's what we're doing for Oli class. So if you're just looking for the other 3 days, you could hop on with this. So if that's something you're interested in, you guys can check out the link in the description. That'll take you to our page on Train Heroic. All of the programs are up there, and the team training as well. And I'll be updating the programming every single week, so you'll have a full cycle. This first cycle, like I said, is peaking us for AO2. So even if you're somebody that's not competing at AO2 or anything like that, you'll still have full programs and full phases where there is a going for heavy lifts, PRs at the end of the cycle. So anyways, this training session today, it's day 1. We're starting with squats. I'm actually doing my squat session in the morning. I'm going to split up the squat and the main session. I'm going to come back this afternoon to train with Mike and do the main lifts. So you'll just see my squat session here first, and yeah, we're going to get into it now. Not using my all-time best for this. This is a kind of a transition week, a ramp-up week, so like a week 0. Our official cycle will start July 14th, so next Monday. So using a training max this week for my back squats of like 380, 375. So this is like gonna work up to 70% of that for my working sets. All right, guys. Again, in this training session here, like I mentioned in the beginning, we are just kicking off our cycle for AO2 for Mike, not me. Again, I will be coaching, like I said, and some of our other lifters. And again, this cycle and all of our training now, what the team is doing is available. And so link is in the description for that. But this is day 1. This is session 1 of the cycle, starting off with back squats. This is kind of week 0, so this is a transition, a ramp up week is what we are doing here. So some things will be similar to the actual cycle we're doing. Some things will be maybe a little bit different. So we're starting off with squats. Reason we're starting off with squats is I believe that if you want to increase your squat in a strength cycle, you need to prioritize it. It should come first in your session. It can be hard as a weightlifter to figure out what you should be prioritizing. Your strength for your squat, your strength for your main lifts. The first part of this cycle, the first half, is squat strength. So our squats are going to come first. The more energy you can give to your squats, the faster you're going to accelerate your squat strength. If you're doing squats at the end of a session, you're still going to get a little bit stronger, but you don't have as much energy to give to them. They might not be as good. So that's what we're doing in the beginning of this cycle. So that's what we have here. We have some 5s. You just saw Mike hit 295. I'm
using a lighter weight because, again, I'm just getting back into things, as I mentioned in the last vlog. So this is 260. I'm taking 90% of 415, which is like 375. That's my training max. So this is like 70% of 375. 260, beltless. Legs are a little rocked for this session. I finished out my last cycle, which was a reintroduction to weightlifting cycle that I've talked about, with a 4x4 at like 315 on Saturday, and then this session is on Monday, so only a 24-hour kind of turnaround. Legs were just a little throttled, so I'm still happy with how they went, but you know, just getting back into things. Body's just, I'm happy with how I'm feeling, but you know, it takes time to build back up to this stuff. So 260 here, moving pretty well considering my legs were decently throttled for this session. So again, we had 3 sets of 5 and then 2 sets of 3. So, and then the 2 sets of 3, I think, went from 70 to 75%, something like that. You think I would know? I wrote this. Mike here is at 315, so he's on a set of 3. Looking really solid for having not squatted. Mike took about a month off, not completely off. I mean, he's been lifting here and there. He's been doing CrossFit classes, just no dedicated training. And it's been really good for him just to ease his mind. I think it's really important for us lifters out there, whatever your training is, whatever athlete you are, taking time off is huge, and just to have fun, let your body recover, and before you get back into hardcore training cycles, it can take a beating on the mind as well as the body. So taking time off, I think, is really, really important. So I'm finishing off here. This is 280 for my sets of 3. Solid looking descent. Again, these look good. Like, I could definitely go heavier, but that's not really the point. I probably could use my all-time, my like 415 back squat max. I'm not trying to hurt myself. I'm trying to be smart. I'm 32, y'all. I got wisdom. I got knowledge. I'm trying to use it. Mike squats look really, really solid. Like I said, he's looking fast. It's a good sign to start off a cycle that his squats are already looking pretty good, pretty fast. He's a strong boy. Yeah, good speed on the way up. His quads look well developed. We miring out here. We miring those legs. So after that, we got into some behind the neck barbell push pressing here. Again, we want to work overhead stability, building back. Beginning stages of a cycle, really important with overhead stuff, working stability, working bottom position. You can always get better at your overhead positions for snatching. And it's one of the things that is really common with all kinds of lifters is you might have a really good pull, you might be really, really strong, but if that bottom position isn't super secure and you're not really confident in it, it can be one of the reasons why you miss lifts. It can also be the reason why we see some of the really, really good lifts out there. People like save lifts. It's because they build that intimacy in the bottom of that squat, and they can sit down there, they can save lifts. And so this is where this kind of stuff starts. It's just the dirty work of some behind the neck push pressing and some overhead squatting with some sitting in the bottom here. So like that right there, right? Rocking front to back on the feet. It's good. That's a good part of the drill, is like building the confidence of what it feels like. Oh, that's what it feels like to be too far back on my heels. Let me correct. Rock forward to the ball of the foot before I stand up. Same thing with Mike there. You know, a little forward, come back down, boom, solid position. You got to build intimacy in the bottom of your overhead position and just build confidence and build time down there. So that's what it's all about. Speed on the overhead position for these push press. Again, how fast can you get your arms locked out? How confident can you feel shrugging up with that bar? So another really, really important thing here. Pretty happy with how my overhead position is looking. I mentioned in the last vlog, because of the lose, I really like my overhead position. Also the T-spine mobility work I've been doing, hitting yoga once a week, and then just before all of my sessions, just doing a good T-spine opening flow has been really helpful. And then again, just not having a 1-inch heel on my weightlifting shoes. Again, I feel good with my overhead positions. So again, kind of hitting this as a primer before we get into some more of our snatch work after this. I like the way my feet look. I like the way that overhead position looks. Looking solid, looking solid.
Doing the dozer.
See Mike here on this one.
Let's go.
Something he can always work. Everybody can, but like one of the things I cued him on was like fast arms. Get those arms locked out. Big thing for Mike on this cycle on his overhead position is going to be one, which we're going to work on right here on this next drill, is his turnover. His last meet, he missed some snatches purely because he was just letting that bar get away from him. He wasn't being super intentional with keeping those knuckles pointed down, getting a high elbow position. Again, it's super important after we make contact with the hip and after we extend to keep that bar traveling vertically and close to the body. We gotta get that high pull. We gotta keep those knuckles pointed down. The moment those knuckles flare forward, there's space between me and the bar. You may make the lift, but it's far more likely that it's gonna be out in front of you and you're gonna be chasing that sucker. We keep those knuckles down as long as possible. So this drill here, the tall snatch, the pull under, whatever you wanna call it, it's a great drill to work on that, as well as speed, confidence, getting under the bar. But you can really see it with me. I'm really intentional with pulling first on this drill. Like I'm start pulling, right? I have long arms, and so I need to, on this drill, start pulling with my arms first before I go to get under. Otherwise, I feel disconnected with the bar. So Mike's using straps here. Totally fine to use straps on this movement. I just didn't want to use them. I don't really know why. It was just lightweight. I didn't feel like I needed to use them, but this is, again, looking good for Mike here with this. It's also another warm-up. We end up going into dip snatches after this. So you can see that was not great. Pull with the arms, boom, get under, solid. More here, pull with the arms, get under, solid. So that's looking good. I think we transition right into dip snatches here. Let's see. Yeah, so just a little dip, little drive. We're warming up. Our dip snatches are at like 60-70%. Again, dip snatch, another great drill to work on that pulling under, getting under, confidence. Also really good to work on extension. So after we get the bar to the hip and when we extend, we want to extend in a vertical fashion. We want to drive through the ball of the foot and get vertical. So many of us drift backwards. We let the weight drift back to our heels. We get too far behind the bar, and now that throws us off. This drill is really good to just reinforce down, up, right? Drive through the ball of the foot, get vertical, and get back down. So it's another great drill for that. Mike was looking super aggressive on these, which is another great part of this drill. Speed. One of the cool training days we're going to have on this cycle is an impulse day, which kind of comes from Garage Strength. They're one of the foremost, I think, training programs out there, gyms out there that talk about like an impulse day. A lot of people talk about velocity, and velocity is part of impulse. The idea of impulse is that like transfer of power, is the change of direction, is, when weightlifting is going from, the second pull to the third pull, or going from a eccentric to a concentric, and how fast that can happen and how much force you can produce through that. This is, again, an idea of that with this dip snatch. How aggressive can we be with that transfer power of going from the dip and the drive out of it? And then also, again, just speed under the bar. The faster we can be under the bar and the more confident, the better your lifts are going to be. The more athletic you can think about it, the better it's going to be, right? So this is what we want to see. I was happy with that. That looked pretty good for me. I was not feeling super confident on these. This was a great drill for me as well, I found out. I was like, wow, I need to do more of these. And for me, it's just, I just haven't had a lot of exposure of getting under the bar recently. I have had that 4-week reintroduction, but 4 weeks is not a lot. And so, this has been good for me. This drill was good for me to like build that confidence back up. You can see a little wobbly, finding my feet. It really was just confidence. Yeah, get under. My grip looks a little weird. It looks like my right arm is maybe a little bit farther out than my left. We were using Mike's bar. It's an Eleiko bar, and the markings are different than my Pyros bar. And so I think I was just a little off on like where I was grabbing the bar. So, and I think as I'm opening my T-spine, I'm starting to find like more range of motion in my left before my right, because my right side is the side that's a little bit more like, I've had tendonitis in it since I was a kid, a teenager. I mean, I don't have tendonitis anymore, but it's just the range of motion is not as good in that side. I think I fixed it on this set. I know I fixed it on my last set, so I don't know if this is my last set. So maybe that was the set I fixed it. You can even see me kind of like looking up at it. I'm like, what's going on with my hands here?
Yeah. Aggressive with the arms.
Again, Mike is looking solid.
Yes.
Good transfer of power. Really stable in his bottom position, so that's solid. And then our accessory work. I only filmed some small amounts of the accessory work. So this is some kettlebell windmills. We also did hip extensions, back extensions off the GHD, and hollow rocks. Accessory movement is really, really important. It's why I wanted to document it. I think so many of us as lifters, we can just write off accessory work, but I think it can be a big difference maker for a lot of us in our core and our shoulders. It can be the thing that helps us save a bottomed out squat or whatever. So hit your accessory work. This is training vlog number 1 for the Road to AO2. And then next one I'm really excited for. We're going to be going over the impulse day. So catch you guys in that vlog.